Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Hendo's Hot Topics. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're loving life. Hope you're having a good week so far. Now, today we're joined by someone very, very amazing, very fortunate. We're joined by Mitch from Ocean Alley. How's it going, brother?
Good, bro. Yeah, really, really good. I'm feeling good.
Good, bro. Now, I'd like to start it off. Be open and honest with yourself. How are you doing in general?
Yeah, I am doing pretty well actually, mate. To be honest, it was a tough couple of years when we weren't on tour.
Yep.
Um, we had so much time off, and it was amazing. At first, you've just got all this spare time, and you're happy hanging out by yourself, just doing whatever makes you happy. But we really did start to miss the tour life together because
Yeah.
we are a bit of a band of brothers, and so to get back on tour is something so special to us, and I can speak on behalf of the other guys as well. I think everyone's in a really good headspace right now. Getting back to work, getting back to what we love to do. So it's really cool. We're feeling really happy right now.
Yeah, love that, bro. And you can really see that, even for you boys on stage on Saturday when you were at Spark Arena here in Auckland, the energy was just so amazing. Not only from the crowd, but being in the crowd watching onto you boys, you could just tell that you guys were really enjoying yourselves.
Yeah, 100%. Whenever we're on stage, we enjoy ourselves. So, yeah, there's been a big build up, and it's been a while since we have been on stage together, and especially overseas. So, it makes me happy knowing that we look like, that you say that
Yeah,
we look
bro.
like we're having fun, man. So, thanks.
Yeah, bro. No, you're right. Now let's get into it, bro. So
Yeah,
I'm here today just to pick your brains a little bit and get to know who Mitch is, bro. So 2011, when Ocean Alley started, that's
yeah.
you boys were setting out to achieve some life goals back in 2011, which was 12 years ago. Did you, if you can speak on behalf or for yourself, bro, did you ever think that 12 years later you'd be traveling the world, selling out gigs from starting playing in a backyard shed?
Yeah, well, no. The short answer is no, we didn't. And you said at the start there, you said we in 2011 we set out to do reach some life goals, but I don't think we really had the goal of being where we are today. Back in the
Yeah,
day,
bro.
it was pretty chilled. We were just happy hanging out and playing music together. We were playing music and making music in the back shed of the bass guitarist's house, his parents' place. And yeah, and when we got that first gig down the road at Mona Vale Pub, and they paid us $200, we thought we were ripping. And I guess that probably started it all.
Love that, love that. Now, do you still get flashbacks, or even has it hit you that you're like, shit, we've made it. We've made it when you're in these stadiums across the globe, you're like, damn, how the hell did we get here?
Yeah, fully. And I think it's something that's been kind of difficult for us to all grasp,
Yeah, yeah.
individually, but together as a group, I think day to day, even still these days, you have these second guesses, and maybe you're not
Mm,
sure if what you're doing is important enough, or what you're doing is real, or what you're doing is what society expects you to be doing. But
yeah.
the great thing that we have as a group, and as a group of close friends as well, is that we can kind of all lean on each other, and as long as we kind of just keep going back to, as long as we're having fun doing what we're doing, then it is important, because when it comes down to it, just enjoying yourself in life is probably the most important thing, I would say.
Yeah, love that. Now, you said the
Yeah,
start. You said at the start there how you boys are like a band of brothers, and just then you said something that's really powerful. That even yourself, bro, is from an onlooker's perspective. There's so many people, so many young guys and girls who could dream about being in your shoes. But even you said something powerful, which is even you second guess it sometimes. You second guess if what you're doing is your calling is your path. So
exactly.
I'd really love if you could touch on that, because I think that's really really powerful in itself.
Yeah, well, it's something that happened to us. Like I said before in the previous question, we didn't have these goals and ambitions when we first started making music. They sort of came along with the process of doing that, and we're very lucky and fortunate to have had the opportunity to have our stuff noticed. So
Yeah.
whether or not that's just getting booked at, getting lucky enough to get booked at small pubs and stuff, and we're lucky that people latched onto our social media, stuff when we were beginning. And so, yeah, I guess, if there's any advice for people wondering whether or not, if they start the musicians starting off, if there's any advice that I could give to them, it would just be to keep enjoying playing music, because just the act of playing music is the reason probably why most musicians start in the first
Mm-hmm.
place. And as soon as you lose sight of that, there isn't much else to my job and the boys' job apart from having fun playing music. And
Yeah,
as soon
bro.
as you forget that that's the only reason why you do it, then you do sort of go down a bit of a rabbit hole of these unnecessary questions that you end up asking yourself, I think.
And I want to ask you, man, is when you do start to go down that rabbit hole, how do you find the best way is to, either stop yourself or pull yourself out before you get too far in?
Yeah, I mean, definitely rely a lot on friends and family. Like I said
Mm,
before, it's a bit of a band of brothers. So I guess we spend so much time together, us guys. We work together and we play together, and half of us live together. We've all lived together before in the
love
past,
it.
and so I think the easiest thing to do is just look around and look at the smile on your mates' faces, and remember all the funny, stupid shit that you've done and all the laughs you've had, and surely that's good enough. I mean, that's worth so much.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
Now, your own personal self, mate. I want to speak to Mitch now, man. Like your own
sure.
challenges, man, and coming through the spotlight that you've come through, mate, and the environment you've grown into is, I assume there's some personal challenges along the way, and for myself, and there's people who reach out to me, they have supportive friends, they have supportive family, but sometimes they can't find that genuine support or that feeling of comfort they need, sorry, to reach out to those people. So has
Yeah.
there been moments like that where, even though you've got all your brothers, you've got all your mates around, you've got family around, that you felt quite alone yourself in the journey you've been on so far?
Yeah, 100%. There's always times where you feel alone, and sometimes it's frustrating feeling that, because you know that all your family are going to support you, and you know that
Yeah,
your friends are there for you, but you can still feel this sense of being alone, and this sense of not fulfilling yourself. When
mm,
I left high school, all the boys kind of met. Well, we were all friends growing up, and the band sort of formed as I was finishing high school. Um, we're all roughly a similar age, but I went to university and I was studying civil engineering. And I did okay in the first couple of years, but I sort of didn't um, pull my finger out and study enough, because after every day of being at university, all I could think about was going back home and hanging out with the boys and playing music.
yeah,
Um, and I did have a wonderful, supportive family. My dad was super stoked I got into civil engineering at university, but then a couple of years later, it was really hard thing for me to turn around to him and say, "Listen, I'm going to finish this, and
hmm,
I'm not going to finish this course.
yeah,
I'm gonna withdraw and focus on the music." And he was super supportive. He said, "Listen, mate, whatever you want to do, just do it to the best of your ability." And that's all that he was kind of worried about. And even still, having that support from your father is, even still, you get into these places where you don't feel like you're doing the right thing. But like I
yeah.
said, um, the support of your friends and family, and also just not taking life too seriously and just sort of taking it as it comes, has been a big thing for me. And I guess my father taught me that as well, and the boys have taught me that as well. I mean, we're a big bunch of larrikins at home, and I really look up to the other guys in the band, because they remind me all the time not to take stuff so seriously. I'm probably
Yeah.
one of the more serious folks in the band, and I like to do my best in everything that I put my mind to. But yeah, they always remind me to not take stuff too seriously and to be humble and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's real strong what you said, man. Especially because when you're young, when you leave school, you're kind of not I wouldn't say pressured, but you're really, you're looked down on by teachers to say figure your life out, go to
Yeah,
university. Straight out of school, you go to uni, and 9 times out of 10, straight out of school, do the first year of uni, second year uni. Even if you make it to the second year and you're like, this isn't for
Yeah,
me. Well, you're like, well, shit,
yeah,
what do I do now? And you can have supportive parents. I wanted to say is the fact you had a supportive dad. Do you still have a bit of nerves going and telling your dad, okay, Dad, I know you
yeah.
want me to do, I know you want me to do this, but actually, I want to do what I enjoy, and I hope you understand.
And listen, I don't have nerves telling my old man that.
Love that. Yep.
But he's always reminded me that you can do whatever you want, and yeah, as long as you're putting 100% into whatever you're doing, and he has said to me another thing before, which still sits to me these days is he would say that people, the saying goes, life's so short, there's not enough time, life's too short. But he disagrees with that 100%, and he says, fucking life's long, man.
Mm.
Life is long. There's a lot of time to do things that you want to do. And so I like to live by that adage. Life isn't short. Life is long. There's a lot of time to get whatever you want to get done, and there's no rush. And it's important to enjoy yourself, day by day.
Heck yeah, a lot of people are so focused on rushing and growing up, whereas they're too afraid
Yeah,
to live in the present. Make the mistakes, learn the life lessons you need to learn.
yeah, yeah,
It's and exactly, and I've only learned that in the past couple of years is to live in the present and not focus about what you like having for dinner tomorrow. Because the time
yeah,
you need to focus on what you want to do, and like Mitch said, he was at uni doing what civil engineering, and all he could think about was going home to the boys and playing music. And if you're in that mindset now where you're pursuing something maybe your parents want you to do, or you're trying to pursue something you no longer enjoy, you want to do something else. If you're young, no, actually, stuff that no matter the age is take the risk. I say is take the
yeah,
risk or lose the chance. Go do what it is you love to do. You got your whole life ahead of you to make these mistakes, and if you enjoy doing it, then do it. Do something you enjoy. You don't have to wake up in the morning, go to a job, 9 to 5 job that you don't like because that's what you feel you have to do because society's telling you that. There's so much potential, and you just need to find it. So, thank you for saying that, brother. Thank you very much.
100%, 100%.
Now, before gigs, where do you
Hmm.
find yourself? What is it that you do leading up to it? Because you must have some self ritual that you use to bloody hype yourself up.
Yeah, well, we don't really have a set ritual, but I guess in a general sense, our ritual is just being together as a group. And most of the time, we're crammed in a tiny green room out the back. Um, and we'd be having some beers, trying to loosen up. And maybe if the NRL's on, we have the NRL up and we'll
Yeah,
be
yeah,
yelling and carrying on. And, it's just good to fully relax in that kind of space, I guess. No one's watching you. That's your private space. So we don't really have any specific sort of, rituals that we do, but definitely spending a lot of time together before the show.
of that.
So we walk on stage and we're all around there. And we always do give each other a pat on the back as we're about to walk out on stage and, just say, go on boys, let's do another one. So yeah, we really do rely on each other a lot before the gigs to kind of to quell the nerves, I guess. Yeah, knowing that the other boy's going to walk out with you onto
Yeah.
stage and take a bit of that pressure. We all share it. It gets split 6 ways, and that's a good feeling, definitely.
Yeah, okay. Here's a little quick question, mate.
Yep.
You spoke about beer. What's your go-to beer? If I could say go into the bottle right now and grab one, what would it be?
Well, I'm sitting here with a Spates
All
gold
right.
medal right now,
All right.
so I'd have to say that the other boys won't touch it, but I'm a big fan of the Spates, big fan.
That's the kind of beer that has to be proper cold, like the frosty on the bottle, and that has the spot, eh?
Yeah, true, and it's got some good quizzes on the lid. What do we got here? Jamie McIntosh is renowned for playing rugby with what on his wrist? Do you know this one?
Is it sports tape with a cross?
Nah, it's a Spates wristband, which is pretty outrageous.
True to the cause, eh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, bro. Now, from a personal standpoint, how do you find yourself balancing performing and going back? Like, how do you take that time just to like, yeah, you enjoy playing music, enjoy touring, but when Mitch has his time to, be Mitch and go do what he wants to do, how does he just remove himself from it all and just take a fiver?
Yeah, I like to kind of push myself physically, I guess. I do a lot of trail running and a lot of bicycle riding and stuff, and a lot of swimming. And that's just a way for me to zone out, and it's really meditative for me.
Love that.
Being out in nature, pushing myself hard, um, makes me feel better about all the cigarettes and beers that I had the night before. And I think it's all about balance, man. I'm
Yeah.
not out there trying to win any medals and run the fastest, but just getting out, getting sweaty, getting the heart rate up feels really good. And I can speak on behalf of the other guys. They do the same. Baden and Obi go fishing. It's a way to connect with nature and just turn off the phone. Angus and Nick are fabulous surfers, and they're out surfing every day, at least a couple times a day when they've got the time. And so, yeah, I think it's important that, like I said before, we work together, we live together, and we play together, but we also have enough time off from each other to just kind of reconnect. And I think there's so much to be said about the positive the benefits of being out in nature, whether it's surfing, bushwalking, mountain biking, just walking your dog around the lake. It's so good for your mental health doing things like that. And when you're feeling hungover, or you're feeling tired, or you're a bit depressed, or you're going through a rough patch and your girlfriend's dumped you, I would just suggest fucking getting out there, getting on the bike, getting on the surfboard, going for a run. And the endorphins just make you feel better. And it really reminds you that you're a living being, and that you're and that these are things that you require to carry on.
Yeah, it's so true. As humans, a lot of us tend to think that it's not okay when we are having those shit days. When we wake up and we don't want to get out of bed. But
Yeah,
I fully agree, man. If you do find yourself in that situation, is even if it's just a brisk walk, like Mitch
yeah,
said,
but
just you go.
it's hard to do that.
Yeah.
But I think the more that you do that, the more that you push yourself to get out of bed, or push
Mm,
yourself to
mm,
carry on. It's like training a muscle, and it gets stronger and stronger, and
yeah.
it gets easier and easier to do. And I find that when I'm waking up, a bit hungover, and I've planned to go for a long run the night before, it's easier and easier now to get up in the morning and go do that,
Yeah.
because I feel like I've practiced that. And so I think it's important for people to realize that it's not easy, but it can become easier if you practice.
Mm, mm. And prove yourself wrong, eh? Prove yourself
And
wrong.
prove
Yeah.
yourself wrong. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that was a big one when I did a 24-hour walk last year for a charity,
yeah.
and I'm going to do it again this
Good on
year
you.
for Mental Health
Nice.
Foundation. And that was one of the key things. One was to do it for the kids, and when I found myself couldn't feel my feet, my knees were crumbling, was one that there's kids out there who are feeling this pain every day
Yeah,
mentally, and two was to
yeah,
prove myself wrong because big huge self critic, little things, huge self
yeah,
critic to myself, and it was okay. You're not going to be able to do 2 hours. I did 2 hours. Okay, you're not going to be able to do 10 hours. Did 10 hours, got to the 24, and it was pretty much like a big FU to myself, proving yourself wrong.
yeah, yeah,
Love that,
yeah.
man.
That's really cool. That you do that, man, and that's exactly what that's exactly what I just said. It's about proving yourself wrong. You're right.
Yeah, love that. Exactly, bro. Now, I asked you and you answered how to deal with your nerves, which I thought was really good, and how to pull yourself out of that rabbit hole before you get too deep, which is really powerful. Now, I want to say and ask for some advice, man, because globally, there's jealousy, but here in New Zealand, it's quite a toxic trait of the country, and we call it by New Zealand tall poppy syndrome.
Yeah,
You hear Israel Adesanya talk about it all the time. People should really focus their perspective to picking on people when they're getting somewhere. To if someone's getting somewhere, if they win, we all win, like Adesanya says. So I want to ask for
mm,
you, if there's people, if there's kids, there's adults, whoever it is, mate, who are trying really really hard to get to their goals, achieve their dreams, but they can't avoid the sometimes harsh criticism, or yeah, just criticism of majority of people they don't even know. Do you have any advice for them?
yeah. Well, you know what? I think the reason why people, even though they're trying their best, can get criticized, is just a complete misunderstanding by the people doing the critiquing. I mean,
Mm,
it's sad that someone would criticize someone for just trying their best. But with saying that, I think if you are on the end of that criticism and you're suffering from a tall poppy syndrome, um, I think the best thing to do is just try and remind yourself of your worth and your place in the world, and the fact that, you know, for the average Joe, or Josephine, um, it's you know, we're one of billions of people on the planet Earth, and I mean, without sounding weird, it's you're nothing special, and
mm,
so
mm.
and so surely realizing that takes a lot of pressure off someone. And so if someone's criticizing you for trying your hardest, and you know, you don't feel like you're getting anywhere, I think it's important just to remind yourself that we're all human beings, and we're all on a level playing field. And back to the one of the first points I was making is just have fun, and
Yeah.
remember, and try and remind yourself of the first reason why you were trying to do something. You know, why did you fall in love with this hobby? And if you can't make it a career, it's probably important that you keep it as a hobby still.
Yeah, and that's I try to hold like the morals to why people do it, and try to set it as I like to say holy grail. You know, it's the bubble that no one should be able to touch, because as soon as someone affects as to why you started,
Yeah,
unfortunately, that's when people start to lose the love. It's the make or break. So exactly what you said is just have fun. It's so simple. People think it's so cliche
yeah,
or cringy
yeah,
or whatever, but it's so true. As you need to wake up, have fun. Like I said earlier on, is find something that you can wake up and be like, I love doing this. Not wake up and say, oh, you know, I've got to do this again.
yeah,
Got to force myself.
yeah.
That's when it starts getting
For other
trouble.
people, you should be doing it for yourself. Yeah,
Yeah, 100%, 100%, brother.
yeah.
I love that. Now, I want to ask, bro. I want to ask, what's up next for the boy Mitchy? What's up next for you, bro?
For me
Yeah,
personally,
yeah, bro.
oh well, I've just eloped with my beautiful partner, and she's actually from Christchurch, and we're living in Byron Bay with the
Lovely.
rest of the folks. And I'm looking forward to a full year of touring with the boys. We go over to the UK again. We go over to the States a couple of times, and we worked pretty hard during COVID to write some new music. So that's going to be coming out very soon. Yeah, and I just want to try and focus on staying healthy and continuing to do my running. I've got a I've got a personal goal of running a marathon at some stage, whether it's official or just by myself. So that would be pretty cool. I've never run that distance before, so I think having those personal goals is really important as well to ground you. And that's a personal goal of mine. That's something I'm doing to impress me, not to impress anyone else.
Yeah,
So that's something that's only going to bring me happiness when I do it. It's not going to make anyone else happy. And I think that's an important thing to have.
beautiful. Beautifully said, bro.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Thanks, man.
Now, last off, man, what I love to do is I love to hand it over to you. It can be 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, however long. Just ramble on if you love. What I ask for is just chuck anything out there into
Mm,
the universe, anything you want to get off your chest, anything you feel, you know, the young Joe or young Josephine should hear.
yeah.
Your time, brother.
Uh, Oh, thanks. No, I'd just encourage you know, anyone listening, especially anyone starting off a band, is to just do it because you love it. And I would encourage people not to focus on um, trying to make money from their hobbies or the things that they love. I would encourage people not to focus on making other people happy. And a piece of advice that I like to live by is, you know, the only person that can truly make yourself happy is you.
Mm.
And also, I guess you have to be happy yourself before you try and make other people happy. Um, and that's important as well. If you're trying to support someone else, you need to be in a good headspace, in a good state of mind. Um, and yeah, I guess another point would just be, like we were saying before, if you're one that sort of doesn't like to get out and about in nature, and I would suggest you do, because because it just does wonders.
Yeah, I fully agree with that, mate. Fully agree with that. Now, I'd like to say thank you, man. Thank you for taking the time. I know you'll be a busy lad at the moment, so I really appreciate you taking the time and coming and speaking on Hendo's Odd Topics, brother.
I appreciate it, Hendo. Thank you so much for your listeners, and thank you for all the fans in NZ. Appreciate it.
We love you, bro. As always, guys, you know I love you very much. Hope you have an amazing week. And remember, do what makes you happy, do what you know is right, and do what you need to do for yourself. Until next time, see you later.
Love is lost, but you found out. The truth be told, that's the truth, and that's not